Hello everyone, this is Ultra Squad and welcome to our Angel of Death guide. We will cover all of the mechanics and phases that you will encounter at AOD and how to deal with them. Before we begin, let's go over the recommended gear setup for the boss fight. If you're going to be a minion tank, ranged or mage are the preferred combat styles. Tier 80 power armor with tier 90 weapons are the minimum, but tier 90 power armor is highly recommended to reduce food consumption. As for pool tanks, melee with trimmed masterwork is recommended, but normal masterwork is fine too. Every role should bring an overload, 4 dominion mines, 2 super restore flasks, a super anti-poison potion, a power burst of acceleration and vitality, an adrenaline potion, and a few brew flasks. The rest of your inventory can be filled with switches, utility items such as the Excalibur or the Elven Shard, and food such as sailfish or blue blubber jellyfish. As for auras, Berserk, Maniacal, and Reckless are highly recommended, but Dark Magic, Majorat, and the 10% accuracy boost auras work as well. Bring a Ripper Demon unless you are a learner. Yaks and Mammoths are fine to get comfortable with the mechanics, but severely hinder phasing and kill times when used. The first phase starts with the element mechanic. AOD will jump off the floor for a second and land down, facing one of the 4 corners. Ice stalagmites will appear, dividing the arena in 4 as shown on the screen, which deal typeless damage if stood on. If AOD faces your corner, you must activate Resonance, Debilitate, or Reflect before AOD sends 3,500 damage 3 times towards you. At the same time, Blood Reavers will spawn in the 3 other quadrants and slowly approach AOD. If they reach her, 3 things will happen. AOD will restore part of her health bar, typeless damage will be dealt to the entire team proportional to how much health is left in the Reavers, and AOD's enrage level will increase. To prevent this, minion tanks must kill the Reavers before they reach AOD. In order to ensure the Reavers are killed on time, each team member must place dominion mines before the kill starts in the middle of every quadrant as shown on the screen. If AOD yells, "Let the shadow engulf you! Give in to it!" 3 red orbs will spawn under each player and deal 300 damage every tick. Wait until the 3rd red orb spawns, then move 1 space away. The red orbs will disappear when AOD reaches 1,800,000 life points. When AOD reaches 2,100,000 life points, Phase 2 begins. It will ignore any damage you deal for several seconds. Meanwhile, an amalgamation will spawn at each corner. Make sure to stay away from them when they spawn, or you will receive 4,000 damage. Use your best DPS rotation to destroy your corner's amalgamation, which has 40,000 life points. If the yellow bar reaches 0 before the amalgamation is killed, the minions in the next phase will spawn with 300,000 health rather than 150,000. After the amalgamations are destroyed or the yellow bar reaches 0, minions will spawn in each corner. Minion tanks, referred to as MTs, should use Anticipate and Devotion to prevent being stunned or receiving excessive damage. As soon as the amalgamations are cleared, focus on DPSing down AOD until she reaches 1.8 million life points. If the team phases AOD without her jumping in the air, MTs must stand at the indicated red spot, face towards AOD as shown with the blue arrow, and use Surge, arriving at the opposite circle. If the team DPS is low, however, and AOD has not been phased in time, the Reaver mechanic will repeat, and one of the 4 quadrants will receive the 3 times 3,500 typeless damage again. Minion tanks must wait until all 3 hits are over before they lure the minion. Note that the Reavers will not spawn if AOD was phased while she was jumping. If another set of Reavers do spawn, place 2 mines again and DPS down the Reavers. If the minions have been lured correctly, they should all be in the exact middle square under AOD. Use Sunshine or Death Swiftness and DPS down the minions using AoEs in the following order: Umbra, Glacies, Cruror, and Fumus. Between 1.8 million and 600,000 life points, there are 3 special attacks: Smoke Line, Smoke Pool, and Ice Prison. Let's start with the Smoke Line. If you're targeted by this attack, a red message saying, "Next begins to draw smoke from the north or east towards you," will appear. If you are a minion tank and your minion is still alive, type the first letter of the direction in public chat, and after smoke appears, move 1 space closer to next, so that your minion does not move. If you are using melee, surge diagonally, so that the smoke does not hit the base tank. Next up is the Ice Prison. You will see a red message indicating ice begins forming around your feet, locking you in place. As soon as this message appears, You must use freedom and move away from other players. If you have no minion on you, you can use a power burst of acceleration after you get stunned and thrown on the ground, and then surge away from the ice prison. This will completely negate the mechanic, and you can go back to DPSing AoD. If, however, you are a minion tank and your minion is still alive, type the first letter of ice and stay in your position. Pray melee and use devotion as soon as you can. You can flick to deflect magic when AoD's auto attacks reach you, and then swap back to deflect melee. Lastly, the smoke pool mechanic. AoD says, "Even I cannot control the element of smoke. Let us see if you can." After which a smoke pool will appear with a crystal in the middle. Pool tanks or players close to it must grab the crystal inside the pool to prevent the entire team from receiving damage when the pool explodes. Doing so, however, will deal 14,000 typeless damage to the person who took the crystal. This can be dealt with by either drinking a power burst of vitality, which will double your hit points, or by wearing full trimmed masterwork armor, which will half the initial damage to 7,000, applying the rest as a bleed. Players can also share the pool, so if 2 players stand in it, they will each receive 7,000 damage rather than the full 14. If nobody activates the crystal in time, heavy damage will be dealt to everyone and is likely to kill some players. At 600k life points, AoD proceeds to the next phase. Some players will receive a freezing effect and shadows will spawn under them every few seconds. Use freedom to clear the freeze and run away from the shadows until they stop spawning. If you stay on a shadow, you will receive 4,000 damage per tick. By this time, the tank will have dragged AoD to one corner, and the rest of the players will need to DPS down the crystals at each corner in the order that the minions were killed. You may install an app called Alt1 Toolkit and open the AoD utility, which will show you the order of the crystals. Then there is the most dangerous mechanic, the bomb. You will receive a message saying, "Nex has marked you to take the full force of the elements," and a yellow bar will start to fill up. You must reach the middle of the arena before it does, or you will be insta-killed. After you reach the middle, the bar will reset and start filling up again. You must drop the bomb somewhere behind the team before it reaches 100%, and then move away. Here's a trick you can use. If AoD is far enough, you can drop the bomb at the corner and it will not deal any damage even though its exploding animation is shown. This will enable you to DPS the crystal immediately, rather than waiting for the bomb to go off somewhere else. Lastly, there is the virus attack. If you notice that you are poisoned, drink an anti-poison ++ potion to negate the poison damage. When all crystals are destroyed, AoD will no longer be invulnerable, and you may DPS her down until you finish the boss fight. Thank you so much for watching. If you found our guide useful, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. See you next time!